We'll wait for some people to get signed on here. Figured we haven't been live in a while. And we go live for like 20, 25 minutes. I've been getting a lot of comments lately about that I'm a this and I'm not a that and, all that good stuff. So I figured I'd just clear the air while I was live and tell my story, tell my background, and get it all out there. What's up, Roosh? And get it all out there. Yeah, you are first. You're usually first. We'll wait for some people to get signed on, though, before I start yammering on and on. Doesn't she look nice? That's like my favorite part of the whole house right there. My bench full of tools. It's so organized. You know what I mean? I don't know what to talk about while we're waiting for people to sign. I probably should have been messing with tools or something until people got signed on. Oh, if anybody knows what they kind of want to see, let me know. Sometimes you run out of some ideas. It gets a little repetitive at times and all that good stuff. So, any suggestions, I take them. I do take them, and most times I act on them and I do a video. So, if you guys are looking for something, that you want to see, just let me know. We'll make it happen, most likely. Wow, only 2 people watching. We got Roosh and somebody else. Let me see here. Well, if nobody signs on, then we'll just do this another day, because I kind of just went live. I think I'm going to start going live on Friday nights. Like Friday at like 8:30. Hi, Zombie. What's up? We got 3 people watching. Now, don't get mad at me if I butcher this. Welcome. Hello. What's up, Apache? What's up? All right, now we got some people in here. You're from Brazil. All right, now that we got people in here, good. So I've been getting a lot of comments lately on my videos that I'm just a mechanic. I don't use 95% of my tools professionally. Blah, 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 and it goes on and on and on, right? Technically, I'm not even a mechanic, okay? Like, I'm like a B-Tech, okay? Like, I am like the lowest form of a mechanic. Like, I don't rip apart engines. I don't put them back together. I don't do transmissions. I do all the basic stuff on a car. Batteries, oil changes, lights, alignments, tranny flushes, filters. I could go on and on with the stuff I do, okay? But that doesn't mean that I don't use the same tools that a master tech uses. He uses an impact wrench. He uses a grinder. You know what I mean? We all use the same tools. So, with that said, I'm not even really a mechanic, okay? My background, all right? My dad was a union plumber, still a union plumber, 70 years old, still on the job, doesn't want to retire, okay? He put in so many sewers and big jobs across the country, it's crazy, okay? And I used to go with him to those jobs when I was younger. I used to run the heavy machinery, used to run the backhoes and all that type of stuff. Then my uncle owned 3 or 4 carpet stores, and he was a master carpet installer. And I went to work for him for a little bit, and me and my cousin Billy, his oldest son, who just recently passed away, my cousin, at the age of 41 from mouth cancer, we used to go do all the carpet installs because my uncle's knees were giving out. He can't even walk anymore from all the knees, you know, you're trying to stretch the carpet with your knee and that type of stuff. Okay, so now we're that far, right? Now we're getting just past high school. And I decided I want to go in a different direction. I watch my dad. My dad has 2 replaced hips, and he's still out there hopping up and down in sewers. Don't know why. Can't talk him out of it, okay? My stepdad was a master mechanic, okay? He's been my stepdad for, 25 years now. He was a master mechanic. He taught me a lot of stuff. My father-in-law, John, was a master electrician, union electrician. He ran all the wires in PNC Park, the Pittsburgh Pirates Stadium, and a couple other stadiums. So I am very familiar with job sites. Been on a ton of them, okay? Just because I'm not a professional doesn't mean I don't understand where a professional is coming from. It's been in my blood. It's been in my family for generations. Okay, I chose to go a different route after high school. I saw how my uncles, my father, my stepfather, they could barely move when they got home from work. And I didn't want to be like that. So I said, oh, I got a great idea. I'm going to become a chef. And that I did. I went to the best culinary institute in America, the CIA, Culinary Institute of America, in Hyde Park, New York, about an hour and a half outside of New York City. Went there for about 6 months, got homesick, came back home and started running restaurants at the age of 18 and a half, almost 19. Got into, you know, when you're in that restaurant business, you get into some stuff that you never thought you'd get into. Well, I got into drugs pretty heavily. And long story short, I also had this little thing that I did on the side with bowling. If I needed extra money, I go out and bowl tournaments, okay? Had some talent, still have some talent. You guys know, you guys saw where we finished. And I started putting more time and effort into the bowling because I didn't want to be a chef anymore. It was just as hard being a chef as it would have been a tradesman on your body, okay? And I started transitioning out of that and started really heavily focusing on a bowling career. Got pretty good, and I couldn't stop doing drugs though. In and out of jail, did a lot of fucked up shit to family members and all kinds of other stuff. Long story short, though, I met my wife about a year into our relationship. She said, enough's enough. You got to stop or I'm gone. Let's just say I stopped. It wasn't that easy, but to save you guys a boring sob story, I got right and stopped. Well, by that time, I'm in my 30s. My youth has gone. I felt like my skills in bowling were diminishing, especially when I got off of drugs. My whole body went through a really big physical change. Stuff that I used to feel holding a bowling ball, I didn't feel anymore, and it took a long time for that feel to come back. And it messes you up here too. It takes a long time for this to get right. So I kind of quit bowling for a little while competitively, but I decided to open up bowling pro shops. Okay? I figured that's my passion, that's what I love, that's what I want to do, and if I can't do it competitively, I still want to be involved. Well, it is a crazy story, ain't it? It is. And, you know, I got so many people coming at me on social media like one guy called me Souls' kid or whatever. I'm not a fucking kid. I'm damn near a 40-year-old man who's been through it. So, I mean, I get so many of these comments, I just figured I'd get it all out in the open right here and let people know just who I am. Well, I opened up them bowling pro shops and they were pretty successful. Like we were doing really good. And my best friend, Brad Angelo, said, hey, I want to be a part of this. And Brad is a professional bowler, kind of a higher figure in our sport. He's been on ESPN hundreds of times. He's won tournaments for 200-300 grand a pop. So he came along and we became business partners, but we were already best friends. Stuff was going good. Then COVID hit and it wiped us out. We almost had to close the doors, especially in New York where we're located, because they lump bowling centers in with movie theaters. We were literally closed for 10.5 months, almost a full year. We were the stage 5. Nobody knew about stage 5. Everybody thought there was only 4 stages. No. Stage 5 was movie theaters and bowling centers. We were stage 5. We were the last people to open in society, and it was 10.5 months. It crippled us. Every dime that we saved, everything that we owned, we sold off just to keep the doors opened and to be able to pay mortgages and all that type of stuff. Well, we finally reopened and the shop wasn't really like the shop anymore. We didn't have that much stuff on the wall. We had to slowly build it back up, and I needed supplemental income to offset what happened with the pro shops, because I was not ready to just throw in the white flag on my dream, especially after we were killing it pre-COVID. So I went back to what I knew, and I got a job at Pep Boys. You know, being around my stepdad in the garage that he worked at, I learned a lot of stuff, and I knew I could do tires and oil changes and light bulbs and filters and alignments and that type of stuff. And I needed the money, so I went to go work for Pep Boys part-time. And I've been there ever since. I really don't want to be there anymore. I don't have to be there anymore. But it is nice having really good medical insurance and a really good 401k and all that type of stuff. That's the reason why I stayed. So, with all that said, I got it all out there in the open. I know I probably bored you guys with all that, but that's my story. And at least it's out there in the open now. I can see there's only 2 people watching, and that'd be Roosh and Apache. What are you guys saying? Just repulsed by the thought of food. All right, guys. I just wanted to get that out in the open. I know I probably bored everybody with it, but then, now it's out there on the record. So some douchebag wants to say what he wants to say. Well, he can say whatever he wants to say because it's all out there now. To the hell with everyone. You have some. Yeah, I agree, Apache. I do. And I truly, I really don't care what they think. I really don't, because I've heard it my whole life and career. I'm a fuck up. I'm a this. I'm not good enough at bowling to be at the highest level. I'm only there because my best friend's Brad Angelo. I've heard so much bullshit throughout the years that it really doesn't even affect me anymore. But when you're getting into a new space like this, I feel like I owe it to people to tell them what my background is, that I'm not some fraud like, some people on YouTube. I just try to be as real as possible. If I'm wrong, I admit I'm wrong. Like, you've seen me say stuff in posts and stuff that, I kind of not feeling how we did this torture testing, the Hercules, rat shit. And, I admit when I don't like something that I did. Yeah, I know. And, I do gotta work on talking a little bit faster and that type of stuff. But when I'm bowling competitively, when I'm bowling shot to shot, I'm trying to watch what my ball reaction's doing. I know you guys don't know what I'm talking about, but just stick with me here. I'm always watching my ball reaction, okay? Because the second it looks a little bit different, I gotta make a adjustment. Otherwise, I'm not gonna bowl good, okay? So there's always this scenario and this and that going through my brain the entire time I'm bowling, and it's just always been that way. And when I'm doing videos, it's kind of the same thing. Like I'll be up there and I'll be saying something, but then something else comes into my head and it's just like, oh wait, maybe you should say that. And then I pause and I gotta stop doing that. So I do gotta get a little bit more fluid and get a little bit more comfortable in front of a camera. But I never started this to make money. I just did it because I had some tools. I wanted to mess with them. I love watching Souls and Tactics and guys like Tinker with Tools and all the guys, I just always love watching them. And I said, hey, wouldn't that be pretty cool if I was one of them guys? Yeah, I do have the tools, you're right. I got to start getting rid of some of them, though. Like the ones I've already did the content on, and I got to start getting rid of them. I think I'm going to... Yeah, I am a competitor. You know what I mean? Don't get my brain in competition mode, because once you get my brain in competition mode, I am a different person. Like, I have customers, right? I drill their stuff. Say if I go out to a weekend tournament somewhere and they happen to be bowling that weekend tournament, they'll like come up to me and ask me for advice and stuff, and my answer to them is, you're not my friend or my customer right now. I want to kick your ass. Like, this is how I put food on my table. I'm not giving you advice to kick my ass. I got a place. I got to do well. You're here for fun. This is what I do. I drop my balls down on the table, literally, and let's fucking go. Let's go. You want to play for $1,000 a game? Let's go. And I just got that switch in my head, and I become a different person. I'm not proud of it, but that's who I am. Just keep fighting the bear. Yeah. Speaking of the bear, I'm still waiting on my lawsuit. He even said, what's your email address, blah, 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 so I can send it over. I didn't give it to him, and I told him I wasn't give it to him, but I did post my email address in my description a few weeks ago. So he's just a douchebag. I don't even know how to describe it. He is so out of his element, and it's okay if he doesn't. It's okay if he wants to have a tool channel and talk about tools and stuff, but to tell people that you're this tradesman for 20 years, that tradesman for 20 years, this, that, blah, 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 right? Stop it, dude. It's obvious you're not. Just like it's obvious that I'm not out there on a roof every day or building walls or building houses, and I admit I'm not. But he is just a fraud. I mean, when you got to make up a cartoon character, yeah, Tony, he threatened to sue me. He threatened to sue me. It was all posted on my page. The whole thing was posted on my page. Parker, there he is. You guys, look, Parker Bone III is in our chat right now. Parker Bone III is a freaking legend of our game. Arguably one of the top 5 bowlers of all time. And he just said, I'll bowl you, name the place and time. Nah, Parker, I'm not bowling you. I'm good. I'll save my money. I know when I'm, swinging above my head there. But, that's crazy. What are you doing on here, Parker? You follow my channel? That's crazy. But, by the way, good job out there making... Didn't you make the TV show at the Wayne Webb, tournament today? You beat Sammy V to make it or something? Anyways, good bowling. I will see you in Jackson, Michigan, because I'll be there supporting Brad. But anyways, the bear is he's kind of crazy. So, all right, guys. Well, I think that pretty much covers everything. Gave you my background, all that type of stuff. If you guys got any suggestions that you want to see, let me know. If I got it, I'll do it. And I like making the videos. I kind of suffered from horrible panic attacks and high anxiety and stuff. When I started this channel, almost 95% of that went away. It's like my mind is no longer on other things. It's on the channel. So when I have the channel going, I don't have any problems with anxiety and stuff. So that's pretty cool. I was surprised when Bear wrote he was a tradesman. At one point, he said he was in it and did server work a few years ago. So now he's a process server too. That's awesome. People realize they can run with stories when they realize people can't fact check. Hell, I used to be the Prime Minister of Sweden. That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. I still can't believe Parker Bone III was in here. That's crazy. That's good though. He's one of the best guys. He's one of the, not just one of the best bowlers of all time. He's one of the best people of all time, Parker. He is a lefty though. We can't give him that much credit. Right, Parker? That Bear, he's good with the bullshit. But if you know anything about hard work, you can tell he don't know shit. Yeah, he doesn't. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. I just wanted to get that out there and get it all out on the record and let everybody know my story. All right, everybody. I'll be posting a couple new videos tonight, so be on the lookout for those. And I'm gonna start doing. I'm having a hard time figuring out how to make thumbnails and like intros and stuff like that. So I'm slowly figuring all that out. So the videos will start getting better here the further we go along. This is all new to me. I'm just winging it, so bear with me. I'm a lefty. I beat off with the right, though. I'm sure you do, Parker. All right, on that, we'll end. See you guys later.